I'm here at the Richmond Olympic Oval, one of the huge legacies left behind here from the Vancouver 2010 Olympics. So if Vancouver were to host it again, what exactly would the cost be, and would it even be worth it?
It's a provocative idea, but I think we need to do a better job of asking people if they really want it than we did last time.
It wouldn't come with a small price tag, despite having some structures already in place from the 2010 Olympics.
Even if you're going to reuse a lot of venues that exist, it's still going to be a multi-billion-dollar prospect. It's still going to be a prospect of a very risky nature with a hard deadline.
Richmond Mayor Malcolm Brody says the Richmond Olympic Oval could potentially be used again.
We purposely left the mechanics for the long track in place so that we can dust them off and use them again, whether it's for the Olympics, whether it's for a World Cup, a World Championship, something along that line.
But it's not as simple as upgrading and maintaining current facilities.
Whistler Sliding Center, with some minor alterations, could go pretty quickly. Same thing with the Callahan Valley. Other venues, not so much. But the other big cost of the Olympics is what they call overlay. You've got to essentially construct temporary stadiums. We'd have to build a new Olympic Village. The one we're standing at right now was a very difficult venue to build, especially after the recession hit in 2008.
The city's current issues and needs would also need to be considered.
From a community-based perspective, I still think there's a long way to go in trying to respond to what are the problems and using the games as a lever to affect change in those areas.
In 2018, Calgary residents voted against their city putting in a bid to host the 2026 Winter Games, nearly 40 years after they first hosted an Olympics. 56% of those who voted said no.
I think right now it's a trial balloon. We'll see if the public wants to take the next step. I'm not so sure the public will, because we're in a different place than we were back in the early 2000s.
The 2010 Olympics left a legacy on Vancouver and surrounding cities. But does the city need that legacy again?
Number one, it was certainly worth it at that time. I'm cautious as to look to the future. We don't want this nostalgic replication of the 2010 Olympic Winter Games. It has to be a brand new vision. We have to define our goals and our objectives and see how Richmond and see how Vancouver and Greater Vancouver would fit into that picture.
In Richmond, Miranda Fatur, City News.